I am weary, God, but I can prevail. Proverbs 30 verse 1. Being weary means to be extremely tired. Maybe you have been fighting the battle of unemployment. Maybe you have been fighting the battle of sickness. Maybe you have been fighting the battle of staying married. Maybe you have been fighting the battle of achieving your goals. And you have just reached that point where you are extremely tired, because you have done all that you can, but you no longer have the strength and the power to keep going. And now what dominates your mind is giving up. But I want to tell you that giving up carries no reward. Instead, your tiredness, your sweat, your efforts, your sacrifices would have been all for nothing. Imagine you would have came that far just to come that far. How was your story going to end if you didn't fear? How was your story going to end if you said, yes, I am weary, God? Agar recognized and acknowledged that yes, he was weary, but he didn't want to give in to his weariness. He didn't want to allow his weariness to overcome him. He didn't want his weariness to defeat him. He didn't want his weariness to win. So he eliminated that first statement of saying, I am weary, God, but I can prevail. But negates the statement that was made before the but. To negate is to cause to be ineffective or invalid according to Google. Meaning, I am worry is ineffective. Meaning, I am worry is invalid. Meaning, it doesn't matter that I am worry, but I can prevail. I can win. I can conquer. I can come out victorious. It doesn't matter how I feel, but I will not stop until I prevail. The Bible says in Romans 8 verse 37, yet in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. You need to walk in the word that God spoke over your life. And God made you a conqueror through him who loved you. And one of the things that I recognized is that it's all in the mind. Proverbs 23 verse 7 says, for as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. If you are defeated in the mind, then you are already defeated in real life. If you have lost the battle in your mind, then you have already lost the battle in real life. Without even entering the battlefield, you have already lost. Yes, I am weary, God, but I can prevail. I also want you to notice that when he said, I am worried, he was saying it to God. He said, I am worried, God, and I can prevail. He was telling God because he knew that God was the only person who can help him prevail. He was telling God because he knew that he can do all things through Christ who strengthens him. He knew that his help comes from the Lord. He knew that God will give him rest. The Bible says, come to me, all you who are worried and burdened, and I will give you rest, in Matthew 11 verse 28. When you are worried, who do you talk to? When you feel burdened, who do you talk to? Do you talk to alcohol? Do you talk to drugs? Do you talk to sex? Do you talk to suicide? Or do you talk to violence? When you are worried and heavy burdened, who do you talk to? Because anyone you talk to that is not of God and that is not God, and they will lead you to shame. They will lead you to regret. They will lead you to embarrassment, and that will start a path of darkness. Talk to your God. Talk to your Father. Talk to your helper. Talk to your provider. Talk to your wise counsel. Talk to your comforter. Talk to your friend. Talk to your strengthener. Talk to your healer. Talk to your peace. Talk to your place of rest. Talk to him and tell him that you are weary, but you can prevail. Not by your own strength, not by your own might, but by the Spirit. On your own you can't. But with him, you are more than victorious. There's a story in the Bible about the woman with the issue of blood. The Bible says she suffered for 12 years with constant bleeding. It says she had suffered a great deal from many doctors. And over the years, she had spent everything she had to pay them. And she had not gotten any better. fact, she had gotten worse. I'm sure not only was she physically tired, but she was emotionally and financially drained. She did all that she could do for 12 years. And not only did she not get any better, but the Bible says she got worse. She heard about Jesus. So she came up behind him through the crowd and touched his robe. For she thought to herself, if I can just touch his robe, I will be healed. Remember, I told you that it's all in the mind? She thought, if I can just touch Jesus' robe, I will be healed. Meaning she already won the battle in her mind because her faith had healed her. Yes, she saw her suffering. Yes, she saw she was getting worse, but she thought, I can prevail. She thought, if I can just touch Jesus' robe, because she had won the battle in her mind, and so she won it in real life, and she was healed. The Bible says in verse 8, immediately the bleeding stopped, and she could feel in her body that she had been healed of her terrible condition. Yes, I am sick. Yes, I have been bleeding for 12 years. Yes, I have suffered. Yes, I've spent everything that I had to pay for doctors, God. But I can prevail if I can just touch his robe. And it was done for her as she had believed. Remember, you walk by faith and not by sight. Just because you see it doesn't mean you need to declare it. Let your faith speak for you, because faith says I can prevail. Faith says I can win. Faith says I'm more than a conqueror. So what are you feeding your mind? Are you feeding it defeat? Or are you feeding it victory? Are you feeding it sight? Or are you feeding it faith? Because you are what is in your mind, what is in your heart. It doesn't matter how the battlefield looks. It doesn't matter how long you have been fighting. It doesn't matter how weary you are. It doesn't matter what sight tells you. What matters is, who do you run to when you are weary? What matters is, what do you feed your mind and your heart? Because from the abundance of your heart, a man speaks. If you carry negativity in your heart, you'll speak negativity in real life. And already in your heart, in your mind, either you've already won the battle or you have already lost the battle. Because what comes out of your mouth is what is in your heart. What matters is, can you see beyond your obstacles? Can you see beyond your trials and your tribulations? What matters is, can you see beyond your sight? John 16 verse 33 says, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have troubles, but take heart, I have overcome the world. You don't do this by your own strength, but you do it by the one who has already overcome the world.